And welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to make some bread. So what you're going to need is some plain flour, water, sugar, salt, butter, and yeast. These are the main ingredients to make the bread, but we are also going to be using some hazelnut because we want to make a bit of hazelnut bread as well. So we're going to divide this into two and have two types of bread. So yeah, so let's get started. And we are going to be using our blender as the mixer. we've put in the dough mixer thingy, the dough blade, yes, the dough blade, and then we're going to be doing that. So for the water we have so we're going to be using 600 grams of plain flour, 7 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 80 grams of butter, and 375 grams of water, and then two sachet of this dried yeast. So they're all about 7 grams each, so total in 14. And because we're using this type of yeast, we don't have to poof it first. We can just put everything into the blender, and the blender just does its magic. So the first thing we're going to do now is put in our flour. We're going to put the flour into the blender. We're going to put all our ingredients into the blender, starting with the flour. Okay, so we have this, and then we have this that in here. We need it anyway, so we're still going to pour it in. Then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. This is the
salt, butter, salt, that's sugar, butter.
And now we're going to
And hazelnut.
In goes the yeast.
That's funny.
Now we're going to cover and take it to the blender to mix it. Everything is ready now. We're just going to put on the blender and so while the bread is mixing in the blender, we're preparing where we're going to put it in. It's going to still be very, 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 very soft. So we need to work with flour while we mix it together. This is it. This is what it looks like in here.
How are you going to make it powdery? There has to be powder.
We're going to now take these
powder.
and put it in
it?
on here, just to mix it. So this is it, see? And then we went behind the camera and we got our hazelnuts ready. So now we're just going to put it all out and knead. So what I've done is I put a bit of flour in here, and I've used that to kind of scrape the jug, and this is what it looks like. See, it's still very, very sticky, and we're still going to have to knead using our hands. Okay, so this is how it looks like on the after bringing it out from the blender. And now we're going to mix. You're going to need, like I said, you're going to need the flour because it helps with it not to stick on the surface. We're going to knead and knead and knead. So for me, I'm not going to knead as much because the blender did a whole lot of the work. And what I did was I put it, so when you put on the blender, it mixes for 30 seconds. And I did that 4 times. So that's enough. So now we're just going to mix until it is the texture that we want. I will show you what that texture is supposed to look like. So this is what we have after mixing and mixing and mixing. It's still soft, and this is what you want it to look like. And now the next thing we're going to do is oil our pans. The pans that we're going to use, I'm going to be using this one and this one. And yeah, so after mixing and mixing, this is what you want it to look like. See, I'll do that again. It's like that. Yes. Yes. So now I'm going to take my knife or cake flour dividing thing, and we're going to cut them into equal parts. Remember, I'm making 2 types of cakes, so I'm going to cut one bit side, keep it, and then concentrate on the other one. You want equal pieces, as much as equal as you can be. So this one is the hazelnut one, so I'm still going to have to mix the hazelnut into the bread.
The hazelnut.
It feels like I think I have added a bit too much flour while I was mixing. So please be careful not to over add the yes. Okay, so this is me incorporating the hazelnut into the dough. So I'm going to mix it properly and then add a bit more into it, and then it will be time to roll. So this is the one with the nuts inside. I'm guessing you can use any nuts of your choice, and this is the one that doesn't have a nut yet. So for this one, I'm going to divide it into, it depends on what kind of so it's not for this one, well, whichever bread you're making, it depends. So it depends on what shape of bread you want, how you want to do, what design you want, basically. For this one, because it's a round container, I'm going to make them into tiny balls and put it here. But for this one, I'm going to roll it to be
rectangle.
Yeah, you can say rectangle, and fix it into this one. It depends on whatever kind of baking tray that you're using or bread maker that you're using. Just cut it to shape, or you could decide to do this in circles, and then what happens is you roll it and then roll it up and then put a smaller circle inside until you get to the middle. That would be nice as well. So again, it's any design that you want. So for the design that I want, I'm going to go ahead and cut them into smaller pieces. So 2,
But now you're taking one spoon.
4, 2. Cut this into 2 again, and I'll do that for the other one. Now I've cut them into, I ended up cutting into 15. So even though I did up to 2, 2, and 2, and 2, I still divided some into smaller pieces. And now it's time to get this ready and put it in here. Usually what I do is I'm not big on rolling it up, and so some people do, if you like you can do it, but I don't think it really matters. They roll this up, and then you have this nicely rolled, and then they kind of just carefully do this. Yeah, so it looks like this. Then we put it in the first here. So you can use the rolling pin to do that method if you want.
Just to let you know they're water balls. And to let you know when you throw them in the air so they can get stuck.
Like this.
And then you
And in here. Or you can do the lazy method, which is my favorite. Use your finger, use your palm, push it down, and then do the same thing. Gives you pretty much the same thing. Goes And so I'm going to do that for the rest of them.
This is our whole.
Okay, so I went ahead and decided to just make the same designs for both of them. What we need now is we need to put it in a place for it to double in size. You want it to be double. And if you have time, you just, I guess, put it in somewhere and just leave it until it's ready. But I'm in a hurry. So what I do is, the trick is, put on your oven to the highest for 1 minute. After 1 minute, turn it off, and then your oven is hot. But then you want to boil your kettle and then put water in a jug and put it in the at the bottom of your oven. So what happens is, and then you put your stuff inside. So what happens is the heat from that water helps to keep the oven warm, and then it rises really quickly. So I will do that and show you what I have when it rises, and I will try to keep a time so I can tell you how long it took for it to double in size. So I will see you later. Okay, so here is my dough after it has risen. I ended up leaving it longer than usual because I needed to do other stuff, but this is what it is, and I'm just going to go ahead and bake it now. So I put the oven on 190 degrees. Yeah, so before I put it in the oven, what I'm going to do now is just get the rest of my nuts and just sprinkle it on the one that's on the nutty flavor one, the hazelnut one. And you're just going to let it bake for 15 to 20 minutes. Honestly, just wait until the top of it starts to get brown. Don't wait until it's dark brown. You want it to be very light brown. So yeah, so let's do this. This is what the bread looks like. I have dabbed some butter on it, and this is what it looks like. Nice, yummy, shiny, delicious looking bread. See, it is awesome. So I'm going to take them out of the tray, out of the pan, and just leave them on the baking trays. Sorry, on the racks. And this is a very, very important step. And then that's it. We're done with our bread. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful, delicious recipe. Okay, so I just thought to add this bit so you could see. See, this is what we're talking about. This is nice, soft, still hot, and very, very yummy. So this is what we're talking about.